So, could you please elaborate on why God veils and reveals himself?
We all understand God having three basic activities: creation, maintenance, and destruction. Right? So, this is a very popular idea. But then there are two more activities were also ascribed to God. One is covering, another one is uncovering. He is the one who veils our inability to see the truth is because it is covered. Now we ask the question, who has put the covering there? Who is responsible for that for that covering? We cannot say, I did the covering. You can't put the responsibility on the jiva, the individual. Nor can you say he is not responsible. You see, it's a very peculiar condition. This is. I'll explain that. You just have to wait. You see, I'll give an example first, and then we will develop from there, because it's a very a fine idea, not a complicated one. You just have to cooperate. That's all. You just have to follow the lead. We all understand that you take a twig, one summit, you take independently a twig which we use for the havans and all, or even any small stick you can take, individual stick. I ask you to break it. You break. Correct. Easy. Anyone can break it. Now I take about 15 twigs together or 10 twigs together and tie that together and say, now break. What happens? Now, what is, follow this very carefully. Suddenly the 10 twigs together has gained one extra power, isn't it? Extra strength. Now, from where that extra strength came? Did all the 10 twigs lend their power extra? Individually, when they are there, they are able to break it. Now, suddenly you put them together, they are not able to break it. Why? Sir, now it has become stronger. You say, from where it got that strength? You see the forest. From a distance, when you look at a forest, it looks beautiful. You see an individual tree, where is the beauty? What is a forest? Forest is nothing but collection of trees. Correct. Now when you see that collection, suddenly there seems to be that extra beauty which is not there for that individual trees, isn't it? So remember these two examples. One, individual tree and forest. When you see that individual tree, there is some beauty. It's not that there is no beauty and all that. Right? Individual trees. But then when you see that collective trees, it looks arresting. No? That's why people go to hill station. They climb up and do what? See from there. Wow, beautiful it is to see. What are you seeing? Trees. Correct? From where that extra came? Who is responsible for that extra? Which we don't see in the individual. Therefore, we understand what? The total is not the sum of its parts. This is the basic understanding. The sum of its parts doesn't become the total. When you add the parts, suddenly you see something different. See, Brihaspati gives this logic, beautiful logic of his, very practical. They don't go into all the complicated things and all that. Very simple example only they give. Pan you take, no? Right? Beetle leaf, green. Then you apply that chunam, that white color. And then you add that beetle nut, which is dark brown. You put all these three together in your mouth and chew. You get what? Red color. From where the red came? It's not part of green. You can't say green, a part of the green, part of this, part of that. Suddenly you see something different, you see. That's what these people define as Vyashti and Samashti. One is microcosm, another one is macrocosm. Individual and total. So the moment you go to the totality, there is something extra. That's the only thing we need to realize first. In the world, okay, in the world we see that in all our experiences. And I can go on adding examples. Now, I think, 3 examples are more than enough. Now, you people can keep on building your own examples. But the scriptures give these 3 examples. Right. One is a twig example. Again, second one they give is this tree and forest. Third one is color. One is to explain the strength, extra beauty, totally different color. Right. Now, you cannot put the responsibility for that extra, what that came out, what is existing there. Who is responsible for that? You cannot say individually. Right. So we see always there is something beyond. Keep this thought in the background, okay? One idea. Then there is another idea. Now we come to the individual. Now individual has to be there. Why this individual is taking birth? Why you are born? Why do you move from one environment to another environment to another environment? Why you move from one place to another place to another place to another place? Only to experience what you desire, correct? You are coming and sitting here because you desire to learn Vedanta. Therefore, you are sitting here, right? Now, another person goes and plays golf. Sunday morning is golf time for me, sir. Can you change your class timing? Yes. No, I cannot, miss that golf. If you have it 11 o'clock, I can come. There's no problem, says. I said, what about 4 o'clock, I said. Yes, golf, you go and play only at 6, no? I said 4 to 5:30 you attend the class. 5:30 you start. You'll reach a golf club in half an hour's time. 6 o'clock you are there in the golf club. Midnight 4 o'clock? He has a different desire, therefore he is going there. Correct? Now, these people ask a fundamental question. The fundamental question is, for you to experience something and fully experience that, what is a necessary condition? You want to really enjoy an experience. When that is possible? When your mind will be fully on that. Correct. Your mind should be behind that. Correct. The point is, when will the mind will get totally engrossed in that? It's a desire. Just because you want something doesn't mean that way. No, there has to be one condition. Is it? I know it's impossible for you to guess it. Right? It's not possible. For you to experience something fully, your mind should be engrossed in that. When your mind will get engrossed into that experience is only when you believe that experience is real. Isn't it? If you are not believing in the reality of that, can you cherish that experience? And the fellow comes and says, I love you so much. You should believe in that. If you don't believe, that guy is, April 1 today. February 14, you go and say, I love you. April 1st, you go and say, I love you. What will be the reaction? First reaction will be what? Don't play pranks. You don't get excited. You don't say, wow, and all that. You don't cry. You don't scream, Why? Because you have to believe in the reality of it. Arjuna is seeing that Vishwarupa and believing that Vishwarupa is real. Remember, for you and me, reading that Vishwarupa is what? It is, he is describing, he is able to describe what? What he is seeing in the visual. Correct? No description of audio. When Arjuna actually saw that Vishwarupa, he saw that as what? Audio visual. Any horror movie, mute it and watch. Visual is there, audio is not there. What happens? What nowadays these people call it as, BGM. BGM. In those days, we used to call it as, background music. Today, if you tell someone, background music, they say, no, background music. BGM. I said, no, background music. No, BGM. I didn't understand first. What is that BGM? BGM these guys talking about? Background music. Adana background music. I said, no. Listen to the BGM. See, if you don't get that audio, Arjuna is seeing the visuals with audio, and he believes it is real. Only then he can fully experience that. If that idea of that reality to the world was not given to you, you can never pursue your desires. You can never go and get that satisfaction. Now, from where you are getting the sense of reality to the world? Vedanta says it is God who has created that in you. How? Just by the totality. That extra, something comes out. What is that extra that is coming out? That extra is that thing. Why? Taking that, this is called grace. You may wonder, na grace, sir? We thought grace is to tell us it is illusion. No. Real grace of God is to give you that belief in the reality of the world. Why He has to give it? Because you have a desire. Since you have that desire, to fulfill your desire, He is creating the necessary conditions. He is working for you. And we all believe God is working against us. He is working for you to create that necessary condition for you to fulfill your demands, your desires. Because you want to experience it. You wanted to enjoy the world. You wanted that. When you want it, it has to be shown to you as though it is absolutely real. Therefore, what he is doing, he veils the whole thing. He is covering the screen so that you see the movie. How? By the light and the sound, audio visual. That's why all of us can agree to illusion in the classroom. Why? In the classroom, words are spoken. These words are coming only as a visuals. There's no audio here. Therefore, you are able to see the world muted. See your experiences muted. Therefore, you don't get involved in that. But remember, Arjuna's condition is not that. Arjuna has to see it audio visual. That is why when you read Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, you don't experience fear. Sometimes you wonder, Arjuna Bainangliya. I don't know, how do you translate that? What do you say in English? Terila. I don't know. Just slang. Who is frightened for everything. Such a person is it? Say, no. Arjuna is a mighty warrior. How can he have that fear? But then he is experiencing fear. From where? That's why I said, God doing one more thing, which is not visible to us, which we don't understand. The three we are able to connect. He is a creator, he is a maintainer, he is a destroyer. Those three we are able to recognize. Whereas he is doing the job. Why he is covering it up is more important. Then, since it is he who has put the covering, then removing is also can be done only by him. That's why we have that devotion. You cannot clean. Chandogya Upanishad says, Brahman chooses to whom it should reveal. Amazing statement. Brahman chooses. It's like, as though, we feel partial, How can he be so partial? How can Brahman be so partial like that? It's not that. It's because of your own. Once you have reached a point where you no longer demand, you are no longer having the desire to experience the world, automatically what you will do? Remove the veil. Why? It's not no longer needed anymore. You're not interested in the movie. Then what do you do? When you don't want to watch the TV, what do you do? Switch off. When someone says, I'm watching TV, what's the meaning of that? You call somebody, you ask him, what are you doing watching TV? Means what? No power in the house. No battery backup. He just got the new TV set. He has not even connected. And he says, what are you doing? Watching TV. That's also watching TV, no? But imagine someone sits there and watches TV like that. What do you call him? Why are you laughing at him? Huh? I don't understand why you people laugh at him or her. Women's liberation, no, otherwise women will get. Why are you saying only him? When a person says, I'm watching TV, it means they're watching some program in that. When I no longer have the desire to watch the program, what happens? Switch off. Right? Same way, the moment that Jiva were to drop his desires to experience the world, what God will do? Remove the veil of Maya. What is that with which he is going to cover? It is a Maya with which he covers. And then, the moment you drop your desires to experience the world, desires, your karma, whatever words you use, right? Sometimes you can even use a word. You can use the word vasanas. You can use your own terms. The moment that demand is no longer there from the jiva, what he does? He removes the covering. So who is putting it? Because a jiva can afford to do only one. That is, he can afford to bring in this demand to experience, desire. He can produce karma, he can create vasanas, he can create desires. That's about it. He cannot bring in that sense of reality to the world. From where that sense of reality comes in, why that sense of reality is there in that individual, is where we see it is not only in me, it is collectively for all of us. So suddenly, I support you, you support me. You will definitely support me if I say there is a laptop in front of me. Correct? All those people sitting in the class, also those who are watching from the Zoom, but those who are listening from the clubhouse, what about them? I am telling them there's a laptop in front of me. Because those who are in the Zoom can infer. So if a person is sitting there and talking to us, there has to be a system. Should be happening from a laptop. Inference is possible. And for you people, what is it? It's not inferential, it is anubhava. It is direct experience for you. You are seeing it directly. Right? For those who are in clubhouse, what is it? How can they do anumana? That's called Shabda Pramana. Shabda Pramana. Correct. All three gets it. Now you are also understanding what I am saying, how you are able to understand because of Pratyaksha. Those who are in Zoom are able to understand that statement. There is a laptop in front of me is because of inference, Anumana. Those who are in clubhouse, they'll say what? Sir, for clubhouse you don't require a laptop. you need a mobile phone. Correct? Yes, club of apps work in the mobile. So if I tell those people there is a mobile phone, they all say what? Yeah, correct, obviously. Why? This app can work only in a phone. Correct. But all of you should have that sense of reality to it. From where that comes? You have only desires. You don't know anything more than that. The individual knows only one thing. What, sir? I have this desire, I have that desire, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want that. I don't want this, I want that. I don't want this, I want this. This and that will keep on changing. What I want will change, what I don't want will change from person to person to person to person to person. Then all that is possible to be experienced, tasted, and fully experienced only when I give a sense of reality to it. When we know, on the other hand, the Shastras, they say, world is illusion. One hand, they say, world is illusion, mithya. On the other hand, we say, our experience says, world is real. It seems to be talking totally two different things. Exactly opposite. Then the question comes, how? From where? Did I give it? Because if the Jiva were to say, yeah, it is Jiva who gave that sense of reality to the world, then at will he should be able to pluck it out, no? If I am the one who has given it, at will I should be able to take it out. Only then I can say, I gave it. Isn't it? Therefore, you cannot say. That's where they gave the example of that twigs. No individual twig can say, I lent that strength to that bundle. None of them can claim individually. But then suddenly when they are together, there is this. That's what the world is. The world is gaining that strength. From where? It's not from the individual. Then it has to come from somewhere. No individual twig can claim. No individual tree can claim. When no individual tree can claim that, then from where? Sir, collection will always have it, sir. There's no reasoning. You're only claiming. You're only declaring. You're only repeating it. That I myself know, no. That is why I'm asking you from where it came. Isn't it? Now I'm confused. Sir, to get individually I'm able to break. Together it's not able to break because it is having more strength. From where that strength comes? That's why we give different examples. Or wherever we go, we see in totality. So the Jagat, suddenly when you say, this macrocosm suddenly has some extra. From where that extra came? Because the Jiva is made up of what? Same 5 elements. Jagat is also made up of the same 5 elements. It's just a combination, permutation combination of the 5 elements. That's all it is. Now when we say only the same 5 elements, how is it that that 5 elements had got that extra power to delude me? How is it possible? Same thing, no? Mine and yours is the same elements. Why that is coming? From where that Jagat has gained, which is also made up of the same 5 elements. In fact, to go one step further, the mind which is made up of the Tanmatra elements Atma Bodha, when we study, you will understand all this. Right? Tanmatra elements, which is subtle elements. The world is made up of the gross elements. Right? Now, how is it possible that the subtle elements getting tantalized by the gross? How can the gross element create an delusion to the subtle element? How is that possible? Subtle can do that. But we are saying exactly the opposite now. See, so that's why we give simple examples. Now, many people, when they take the example, this is where people do that blunder. They take the example, start analyzing. Like when you give the example of the twig, suddenly they'll start giving, the pressure given by the hands vis-a-vis the pressure, the acceleration, the gravitation, this one, that one, and all that they'll bring in. That's not described. Totally off tangent. It's not that they are not there. That's not the purview of the discussion here. Because here we are not talking about that. Here we are saying, how is it possible that the subtle is getting diluted by the gross? Same element. Suppose we say, sir, this is a subtle, different element. This is gross, different element. Therefore, no, that's also not the case. It's the same thing. How is it possible? Which means the gross gets something extra there, something more. Even though it is gross, there is something more to it. From where that more came, why that more is there, that's where this idea they bring in. Why that more is to be given there is because unless you are convinced in the reality of the gross, you can never go through your desired experiences completely. You can never cherish it. I should believe in the reality of the world. Only then I will feel satisfied. Otherwise, it will be like, what is that movie? Matrix 1. A fellow will have that meat. One fellow will be eating. I know it's not real, but then very juicy. I know it is not there. I know it is all computer program. But then it's juicy. Now, from where he gets, unless he gets that sense, what is going to be the case? Can you experience that? But you wanted to experience it. Suppose if you say, I am not interested in experiencing it, then what happens? The veil gets removed. He no longer wants to see like this. The moment it happens, what? Suddenly that fellow, Anderson, becomes transformed into Neo. Matrix. Isn't it? Narendra becomes Vivekananda. How? What is that? The son of a carpenter becomes God. How? What is the difference? He has dropped that desire to experience the world. So long as you are having that desire to experience the world, your mind should be totally convinced. That's the precarious condition of a sadhak. He is neither a samsari nor a Siddha. Samsari is one who has completely convinced in the reality of the world. Siddha is one who is completely convinced in the unreality of the world. Now, sadhaka is standing in between. One part of him says it's not real. That is why when you read the 11th chapter, you don't get that fear. When you read that, you will not get that fear. Whereas Arjuna says he is scared. Now, when you read that, what do you think of Arjuna? See your mighty form with many mouths and eyes, many arms, thighs and feet, many stomachs, many terrible tusks, so Mahabaho, the worlds are terrified, so am I. And he says, worlds are, everybody is terrified also. The fact is nobody seeing. But he says the world is terrified. It is a typical, condition of a person who is scared. They don't know what they are speaking. They are terrified. I am also terrified. And you read that, you say, what? What is actually terrified? Many mouths, many stomachs, many tusks, many things. Obviously, many mouths means many eyes will be there. One mouth means a problem. Many mouths means no problems. And every mouth will have one intestine, one stomach. Imagine all the mouths going to same stomach. How big the stomach has to be. Big deal. What is there to get fear? You cannot. I have not seen anyone who has ever studied the 11th chapter feeling scared. Therefore, are you going to be coming to a conclusion that you are having greater courage and valor than Arjuna? He is scared. You are not scared. Who are you then in comparison to Arjuna? Superior, no? Or you? We don't understand. Why is the case? Because for you it's not a reality. This is the example. Why you are not experiencing it is because it's not a reality to you. It is just a fictional idea for you. Otherwise people will not do Parayana of 11th chapter. I have seen a lot of people doing Parayana. Every day Parayana of 11th chapter. Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. Some of them say, I wish I also get the chance to see that. If you read it, Arjuna himself is going to say later, please take it back. Now you read that every day. Parayanam also you do every day. And then you say what? I want to see that. This is called the definition of delusion. Because you don't understand what you are asking. You don't understand what you are saying. Why you are able to do all those things is because you are not seeing this as reality. Whereas for Arjuna, it is a reality. Who gave that sense of reality to him? I am giving you that Divya Chakshu, he said. Not Jnana Chakshu. Krishna did not give him Jnana Chakshu. He gave him what? Divya Chakshu. What is Divya Chakshu? Like 3D movie you go, no? They give a glass. 3D glass. Divya Chakshu. Watch that movie. Take it out and see. Same Jurassic Park. Remove that and watch. Have you tried? So after paying 500 rupees for ticket, why take chances like that? It's not a reality to you. Why? Because you are not wearing the 3D glass. Now Krishna told him, I am giving you Divya Chakshu. Enna Divya Chakshu? He covered the reality. He covered the reality. He is not showing the reality. He covers the reality with his eyes. The same thing is what God is doing to all of us. Why he is doing it is not because he wanted it, because you wanted to experience the world. If you wanted to experience the world, it is possible only when you believe totally. Not an iota of doubt should be there in your mind when you are experiencing it. Could this be real? Just try that. When you are in the peak of any experience, you must get that thought at that time. Right? If you don't get it, nothing can be done. But then, once in a while, is this all real? Arjuna is seeing like this. Why? Because you wanted to see. When you wanted to see, God is coming to help you. He says, I am here to fulfill your desires. I'll help you. What is the help he is rendering? Covering the truth. And then the moment you say, I am no longer interested in experiencing the world, he removes the covering. Two of the most beneficial thing. And he creates, he maintains it, and he destroys it to recreate. He does all that he is doing. Why? Only to fulfill our demands. God looks very different.